For the entire past year, I've been on a quest to optimize everything in my life, which means I've been testing a ton of tech. Some were alright, but others were actually worth getting. And the ultimate goal, to make everything I do daily smoother, faster, frictionless, awesome. I've upgraded my reading habits, my desk lighting, and the way I connect my laptop, and even the watch I wear. Some of these were unexpected wins, others were sort of overkill and definitely not worth splurging on. From a color e-ink tablet to a see-through power bank, here's the tech that's actually making my life better. So if you're trying to read more and scroll less, e-readers are an underrated secret weapon. Before I got one, I thought they were dumb. Why wouldn't you want the physical copy of the book? Then I moved around and I realized how inconvenient having heavy books were. So after getting my first Kindle, I quickly became converted to ebooks. You have access to your entire library of books, even without an internet connection. And that's where this product comes in. This is the OBSBOT Palma 2. Yes, OBSBOT. Now, it looks like a phone, but it's not. It's almost like someone tried to reinvent the e-reader with more modern expectations, like fitting into your pocket or your bag or your purse. It also runs Android, so you can download real apps from the Google Store, like YouTube and Notion and Libby, so you can get library books. But the screen itself is still e-ink, so it doesn't let you scroll for long, and YouTube videos look horrendous on it. Just horrendous. So the refresh rate is a little slow, and it's only black and white. So because of this, it's not stuck in Amazon's ecosystem. You can read PDFs, you can read ebooks, you can read your own Google Docs, whatever. So what really surprised me is how casual it feels. I don't have to commit to hours and hours of reading. I just pick it up when I feel like it, read a few pages, and then set it down. It's so light and small, and it feels like a tool, not a commitment. If you read something interesting and think, I need to look this up, you can. It has the internet on it. So I initially wanted to try a Palma when I was seriously decreasing my screen time last year, and this device seemed to tick all the boxes, except one. It has no SIM card, which means no text, no calls, no 5G internet, but it's a great companion device to get you off your phone more. It gives you a way to use tech without getting sucked into it. The Palma 2 can even take photos, although I haven't gotten it to take decent ones. They're all out of focus and sort of lame. So with just reading, the battery life can last a couple of weeks on a single charge. Now the bad part is that the Palma 2 costs a lot, at $280. So if I were interested in this product, I'd look at the Palma 1 at $199, or even less if you decide to buy it used. It's basically the same, except it doesn't have this fingerprint reader on-off button that the newer version has. It also has a slightly slower chip, but with the e-ink screen, honestly, the difference is negligible. And if all you want to do is read ebooks, get a $120 Kindle or a Kobo Clara will do just fine. But it's pretty cool.
This video is sponsored by OBSBOT, and this little guy, the new Tiny 2 Lite, has recently upgraded my setup. It's a more affordable webcam than their original Tiny 2, but still packed with a lot of the same smart features that everyone loved. I started using it when I needed something easy for Zoom calls that looks way better than a normal webcam. It's got a huge 1.5-inch CMOS sensor, so you get crisp 4K video that still looks great in low light. The image quality is genuinely impressive, especially for something that doesn't cost a fortune. And it still has the same AI tracking features I loved. It follows you around automatically, adjusts the zoom depending on how far you are, and you can even pick what part of your body it tracks, like just your upper body, your face, or even a full outfit. And honestly, it makes a big difference when you're trying to film solo. You can move around freely without having to worry about whether you're still in the frame. There's gesture control, so you can raise your hand to get its attention, or do a little L shape with your fingers to zoom. It's way more intuitive than digging around in software or trying to reach over your desk mid-recording. You can also flip the screen with the mirror imaging feature, so it looks like you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Or if you only got 2 hours of sleep last night like I did, you can turn on the beauty feature to remove those raccoon eyes and gaslight everyone into thinking you're well rested. Speaking of gaslighting, you can mess with your body proportions to make yourself look taller, skinnier, or just like a weird character in an MMO game with all these toggle features.
Hairline. Oh gosh.
I had a little too much fun with this. And the audio is improved too. It has dual omnidirectional mics with noise cancellation, so even if your background isn't perfectly quiet, your voice still comes through clearly. So whether you're in meetings, recording videos, or just want to upgrade from your built-in webcam, the OBSBOT Tiny 2 Lite is honestly one of the most user-friendly options on the market. Overall, if you want a camera that looks great, sounds good, and basically runs itself, the OBSBOT Tiny 2 Lite is a solid option, especially at this price point. Big thanks to OBSBOT for sponsoring this video, and check it out using the link down below.
Next up is a product that's going to reinvent how you write. Do you ever get tired of constantly filling notebooks, tossing them away, and never seeing those ideas again? That's what pulled me into digital notebooks in the first place. I started with the Remarkable, which had a great writing feel, but a terrible user experience. But this year, I got to try a newer e-ink tablet with a color screen, the Boox Note Air 4C. That's a long name. So I use it for weekly planning, notes, and maybe just random sketches. It also runs Android, which means you can jump from notes to other apps like Google Calendar without having to switch devices. So navigating your notes still isn't perfect, and erasing can feel a little sluggish, but it's still the most useful digital notebook I've tried so far. It's way better than the Remarkable. It has a USB-C charging on the left-hand side, along with this top left on-off button. It makes it a little awkward to get to, but you get used to it. The included pen attaches magnetically to the right side, and it feels responsive. It's not as scratchy as the Remarkable, but not as smooth as the iPad either. So you get a lot of colors, but it's limited. You only get 16 colors, so not quite RGB. And also the colors are completely inaccurate. So there's templates to do weekly planning, workout tracking, and you can even import your own. And organizing is not bad, but I don't love the tag system. With that being said, if you don't already write things on paper, there's very little reason for you to get this. It's not going to be useful at all. In fact, it's just going to be an expensive paperweight sitting on your desk that looks a little cool. So while it's a cool device, it's definitely a piece of overkill technology sitting at a bit over $500. It might be better to keep on writing in notebooks and losing them instead, honestly. It's so expensive. I'm hoping e-ink displays will become more accessible over time because this is ridiculous. But it's better than Remarkable. So there's that. So switching gears, this next one isn't sleek or paper-like, it's just a really solid brick of power. This is one of those products that you take for granted because you don't use it much, but when you do need it, it's very handy. And that's a power bank. Yep. Power banks are one of those things that you just forget about until your phone hits 3% in the middle of an overseas flight, and then you really need one. So they're not exciting, but when you need one, you really, really need one. So the Charge, this bad boy, is my office backup. If I don't have an outlet nearby, this thing has a lot of juice. It's got a screen that tells you the charging level, the wattage, how much time is left to charge this thing. It's kind of extra, but it's nice. It's huge, it's fast, and it'll basically charge anything. I'm definitely bringing it with me to Disneyland because my phone battery is tiny. Although I do get stopped at airport security a lot, and this thing just screams, check my baggage. It has 2 USB-C ports and 1 USB-A port. The USB-C ones can be either used for input or output, so you can charge it with that or you can charge other devices. Now, I wouldn't have included this in Cool Tech, but it saved me recently. My Remarkable tablet was dead out of battery and it refused to charge with any of the power bricks I had because they were just too fast. So I got this thing out after reading a bunch of forum posts, and surprise, the tablet started charging again at 5 watts. Oh, so slow. They have it at 86.4 watt hours, so it means you can take it on airplanes, and it goes at 170 watts max charging. So very cool, bit overkill, but pretty nice. So next is a product I've been wanting to test for years and years, but I just couldn't justify it. It's been recommended throughout my comment section and in desk setup videos everywhere, but it also costs an arm and a leg at $180, and that's the BenQ Halo light bar. Eventually, I just had to try it once and for all, so I made a video comparing this light bar to a $65 Amazon light bar, and honestly, it kind of ruined cheap light bars for me, unfortunately. But there is one situation where I would recommend someone actually get one. If you work at night a lot and often, the BenQ is one of those rare upgrades that feels expensive, but it actually earns its keep. You get no glare on your screen, you get a wireless control puck, a soft ambient backlight behind your monitor. It just makes the space feel better. It also reduces eye strain. At first glance, you might think, oh, the Halo light bar is just an overpriced light bar that's a waste of money. I thought that too. But it does so many things better than its cheaper competitors. For one, the mount is much easier to use and is adaptable to different monitor shapes like curved ones. You don't have to mess with it to get the perfect settings. The weight of the clamp just does the work for you. And secondly, the clamp itself has a diffuse light attached to it, which decreases the contrast between your workspace and your screen when you're working, which lets your eyes relax a little more, which the cheap options don't have. The light's quite natural instead of being overbearing. And the biggest downside though is that it has a non-detachable cable that connects to the light. So if your cat decides to play with it and rip it apart, you can't just plug in another cable, you're SOL. But it's pretty nice. It is a very nice light bar. Next Next is a product that's the perfect marriage between watches and health without looking like a rugged Garmin, although I do admit those Garmins look pretty nice. After my last tech video, a bunch of you told me to try the Withings Scan Watch because I clearly like analog watches, but I also care a little too much about my health data, like my steps. So I went to look at their website and dang, the watches are pretty good looking. Now if you didn't know, they also track your steps and your heart rate and your workouts. Honestly, you could never tell. They look more like real watches, more like my Young Hans than a smartwatch, and it doesn't light up at me or yell at me all day, but it still tracks the stuff I actually care about. Heart rate, steps, floors climbed, workouts. You can even check your respiratory rate or ECG if you want to get fancy. Now compared to my Garmin, it's much less aggressive. Garmin is great if you're training for a race or just really enjoyed training like we are. We're training for our first sprint triathlon. It will give you your heart rate zones, VO2 max, recovery time, basically turn your life into a spreadsheet, but hey, some of us like that. But the Scan Watch, this is the Scan Watch 2, is more for the average user who cares a bit about health without wanting to become obsessed with it. It falls into the special category of a hybrid watch. You get the elegance of a real watch, just enough health data tracking to feel informed, and it comes in various sizes at 42mm and 38mm, and different colors too. I picked out the blue dial because it looked beautiful and it's slim enough to not look too big on my wrist. So compared to my Young Hans, the Scan Watch 2 is thick with 3 C's. It has a great battery life though of about 2 to 3 weeks. They advertise 30 days, but I honestly don't think so. And if you turn off some of the more power hungry features like oxygen or ECGs, you might be able to get more, but that's really good for a smartwatch. The Withings app leaves a lot to be desired. On a regular basis, it probably tracks your heart rate every 10 minutes and continuously when you're actively tracking a workout. But if you look at the data compared to Garmin or Whoop, it seems extremely smoothed out. It also tracks sleep, but because of this thickness, I haven't really used it for that. That's just uncomfortable. They also have a smaller and thinner Scan Watch Lite that doesn't have some of the features like constant temperature tracking, and it's thinner, so that one might be more comfortable for sleep. On the other hand, they have a more fancy Scan Watch Nova that resembles a stainless steel dive watch. It's real fancy. So there's a hidden feature that took me a couple days to figure out, and that's the steps tracker small hand, so you don't have to turn on your screen to see it. So this small dial here goes from 0 to 10. It has 10 equal increments, and it measures how much progress you've made towards your step goal, 10% at a time. So if your step goal is 8,000, then each increment is 800 steps. It's pretty cool. So to interact with it, you press on the crown, it turns on the screen, so you get the time and the date digitally, and then you can cycle through your menus like your workouts, your settings. You can turn on and off alarms and things like that. You can customize those menus to whatever you like. In the app, it gives you daily missions or tutorials to learn how to use the watch, which I thought was really cool. Other health devices, everything else I've used, just they throw you straight into the deep end and they're like, have fun, you spent money on it, so figure it out. There are some downsides though. Personally, I don't like how the strap feels. It has these grooves in it that press into my wrist when I wear it, and they tend to leave marks. And sometimes when I track workouts, it'll just go haywire before getting an accurate reading on my heart rate. My Whoop does that too, and once about 5 minutes passes, it's pretty stable, but my Garmin never does that. So the Scan Watch 2 comes in at $370, which is a bit less than the new Apple Watch Series 10. It's sort of a deal when you consider the fact that it looks like a real watch and it's not trying to overtake your life by connecting to your phone all the time. But if you're thinking of getting a more serious fitness watch, then the Garmin Venu 3 might be a better choice at $399, or even the Garmin Forerunner 955 during a Prime Day. It went on sale a lot, but you can buy one used. And last is my newest upgrade to my laptop setup, the CowDigit TS5 Plus. This thing is a monster of a Thunderbolt dock. Now before this, I was using the TS3 Plus, which was already life-changing. Now it's moved on to serve its place in our home office setup, which we use to work at night or during Allie's naps. So docks. I used to think they didn't really matter, but after going from combining a bunch of USB hubs to my laptop to a real dock, I would say it does matter. And it is better. You get all your desktop accessories, your monitors, your microphones, webcam, speakers, mouse, keyboard, everything, and you just have to connect one cable to your laptop. That's it. Now, someone recently asked me why I use CowDigit, and the answer is simpler than you think. I needed a dock one day, so I looked up best Thunderbolt dock. Then I saw TS3 Plus as a semi-affordable option, and I bought it. And after that, I really liked it, so I figured it's a pretty good brand. Now, I haven't really tried other brands yet, so is that something you'd be interested in? Different price Thunderbolt docks set against each other for the purpose of education, I'm open to it if you want me to be. So one big problem with the new dock is that while it's future-proof, it's also not compatible with older tech. My Dell XPS isn't compatible with it because it doesn't support Windows-based Thunderbolt 3 ports. So before you decide to get it, make sure that it's compatible with your device first. But other than that, it's awesome. So the first is how much charging you get. My older dock had a limit of power, so I had to remove my Beacon Mix Create, but this new one supports it all. It's insane. It has 20 ports, 5 USB-A ports, 8 USB-C ports, audio jacks, an SD card reader, and a hardwired Ethernet connection. It's life-changing. So if you got any recommendations for cool tech for me to try out, feel free to comment them down below. And for more tech that has changed my life for the better, watch this video right here. Bye.